Okay, people, get into the live stream. Today, we're going to be talking about U.S. immigration and customs enforcement, ICE, and the GoFundMe competition that's going on where people are taking sides. I believe the woman, Ms. Good, who lost her life by getting shot by the ICE agent. I think her GoFundMe is over $1 million now. And the ICE officer, I'm not sure what his is at, but I think his is like 500,000, 500,000 K, 500K. Don't quote me. Don't quote me. It's high. Like these excuse me, these GoFundMe's are very interesting. It makes me wonder if people are genuinely concerned and they really care, and um they're not just engaging in identity politics and wanting to be right for the sake of being right. We do have laws in this country. We have policies, rules, and regulations. And I'm going to pose a question before we get into the discussion. We're going to have Zaire Ruffin join us too. But I want to know if it's against the law to be illegal in this country, but we're going to allow some people to break the law and be here illegally and fight for them and do these unlawful protests without getting permits. There's a whole process. When you do protests, there's a whole process that came before me where people agreed, if we're going to do a protest, we're going to take out permits to do them. A boycott is different. We're not talking about like boycotts and civil rights movement, but protests, you have to take out permits, even in the city of Newark. We've been able to get away with not doing that because of sensitive issues in Newark and because, certain people know certain people. But at the end of the day, there is a law around doing protests. You can have freedom of speech, but to just block off a sidewalk or a street to do a protest, you got to have a permit. You got to have a permit. That's just the law and order of things. So we're going to talk about what happened to the young lady in Minneapolis, and then we also have our former police chief, who's the police chief in Minneapolis now, Captain O'Hara. Shout out to him. Let me get Zaire on, but I want to know, before we get into the discussion, people get into the comments because maybe you can help me out. I want to know, as I'm just going to be straightforward with this, as a Black woman living in the United States of America, what laws can I break and get away with? What laws can I break to the point where you all will, excuse me, GoFundMe and help me raise $1 million? Let me know in the comments, what laws can I legally break? Let's get Mr. Ruffin on. And then also, welcome. Thank you. Give me a hug.
What's up, King?
Virtual hugs. That was a virtual hug. What's up, Zadi? I want to know, and also get into the comments and let us know, what laws can Mr. Ruffin break as a Black man in America and get away with, and to the point where you all will GoFundMe and raise money for him. in breaking those laws, because we do have law and order, and if people want to change those laws, there's a way to do that through legislation. And the way you change it through legislation is that you have to vote for candidates or either yourself to get in here and change that. Hold on. We got my sister in here. Shout out to my sister.
Hey, Keys.
Hey guys. And shout out to my sister for letting us know about the Verizon, what was it? The outage, the
Yeah,
breach. It was probably a breach, aka. No, I'm not gonna say. I'm not even gonna play around and say China.
but
I'm not even gonna, because then people would take that and run with it and say, I don't know. I had all the facts.
the cats and dogs did it. The cats and
Right, the cats and dogs. But yes, she let us know. She sent it on a family, the family chat, that there was an outage, but I don't have Verizon, so and shout out to AT&T. We gotta get AT&T to sponsor Current Exposure. We gotta get them to pour some money and go fund me Current Exposure. If you on our side, like if we doing sides, you know what I mean? I spoke, Zaire, I kicked it off too, because I want to know, what law can I break as a Black woman living in America, and you guys will fight for me and go fund me, because if I get that million, I'm giving it all back to y'all. I'm sharing it. I'm sharing it. I'm dead serious. And let's talk about, all right, Zaire is law enforcement, and also we have experience with protests and unlawful protests.
Yeah.
And I was talking to the people about how you need a permit to do a protest.
Yeah.
Let's get into that.
A lot of
what happened in Minneapolis?
Need a permit. It can be deemed an unlawful assembly. Now, people may exercise what did you call it? Exercise. It just slipped my tongue. Discretion.
Okay.
Many law enforcement agencies exercise discretion at their will. If you wanted to protest, for an example, so go out in Minneapolis and protest the shooting and things like that. However, it becomes an unlawful assembly when it actually called the fighting words, right? That is a legal term, whereas though you're enticing a sense of violence by others, right? And you're going out and you're spreading hate and hate speech and things like that. Even though certain classes of that may be protected, however, when there's three or more people and there's unruliness in that language associated with disorderly behavior, it therefore can be deemed an unlawful assembly. So either they can designate it as
throwing to cops,
fireworks. When chemical agent has to be deployed, right? When law enforcement has to consistently intervene, right, or to take persons into custody, it becomes a riot. So I think that right there, if we have that same energy to ICE agents, to the drug dealers, to the people who are out there sitting on corners, if we can galvanize that very same response and protest them the way we're protesting the police, I think there'd be a lower violence rate, because people have this form of selective outrage, and this is not a Democrat or Republican issue. I'm not trying to talk from a more of a conservative platform. It may come off conservative, yeah, I can understand that. But what I'm saying is that if we have the same outrage that we're having over Black children getting killed by other Black children in Chicago, and Philadelphia, and Newark, and many other places, right? We can have a more sustainable society. But what we're seeing here is that when a white woman is killed, there is significantly more, and it manifests, and it shows the very racial disparity when it happens when a white person is killed by police from a high profile incident, specifically stemming from an ICE encounter, which she used her vehicle as a weapon. It was. It completely justified shooting. I'm not stating it because of my law enforcement background. I'm stating it as an objective viewer of what I saw at that specific time. Number one, they told her to stop. Tell you to stop.
Yep. Did you hear someone in the background? Pull off, bitch.
Yeah, it would have been fine if she would have pulled off and no one was right there. That happens plenty of times, right? I even had a situation where though the person pulled off, there it is. However,
But did she run the guy over?
she did hit him because
can we play that footage? You sent me that footage, right? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead. While I look for the footage.
The selective outrage that is happening right now. We're protesting people who have already committed by entering the United States undocumented. Now, I'm not stating that what is happening may look bad, right? But it's lawful. It seems awful, but it's lawful. I was taught that in academy is that they say even, it appears to be awful, but it's lawful, right? And that's why a lot of people may not understand.
Keisha says they barely mentioned the black young man who was killed by ICE on New Year's Eve.
Exactly. And when we have issues like that, once again, selective outrage over a white woman. Right?
Where's his GoFundMe?
It is selective because she crossed the form of intersectionality. What is intersectionality? Intersectionality is a point of where grievance groups meet, right? So she's a white woman protecting indigenous people, right? Protecting
But is she really protected?
No, she's protecting indigenous people by protest, right?
Oh, okay.
And she's a lesbian, so that's where it intersects. So her grievance in a LGBTQ, a white woman, a mother, a person who's really protesting. And my thing is, protest the gang members. There's plenty of gang members in Minneapolis. Protest those shootings. Protest how many homicides that are happening. So keep that energy. Don't just keep it for this.
Be consistent. Be consistent across all public safety matters. And that I gave a shout out to Captain O'Hara, who's over there as the police chief.
As captain, but he was directed when I was there.
He's the police chief in Minneapolis, right?
Police chief of Minneapolis, but he was a director when I was on board with North. He was good. He was good. He's always been good. But yeah, I do want to talk about if I could minimize you real quick and go to my notes.
Okay. Cause I want to play the clip that shows another angle where the lady hit the police officer, the ICE agent. And I'm not anti-police. I'm anti-racist. I'm anti because I've had relatives in law enforcement, my sister, and other relatives that are currently also law enforcement. And you guys have, to me, and because I know y'all personally, I can say you've gotten into it to serve and protect.
Mm-hmm.
Because you all had your heart in the right place and you wanted to protect people from the bad guys. And that's why y'all got into it. And I love y'all for that, because you got some naive people that really think that bad guys don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
But based on the work that y'all do, y'all make certain people feel that way. That they can't think, oh, we don't have no bad guys. Having police is just extra. Yeah, try to live without them and see what happens. Try to live without law enforcement and see what happens. Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds like a utopia to not need law enforcement, but you got evildoers out there whose intent is to cause harm and pain.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's domestic terrorists, national terrorists, you got people, and all it starts with them having, feeling of jealousy or envy in their heart, or they just feel like, I want to hurt people.
Yep.
And so I think it's so messed up that they feel like we're to a point where you guys are not needed. Now, okay, some people, yeah, are overzealous and they take it too far, but with training, that can be adjusted. Understanding, like when we did trauma informed training with the police officers in Newark and the citizens, we got to understand each other and see where each other was coming from. And that right there, I've never had any animosity towards police. Even in my personal situations. And let me talk about that. I gotta be real. When I was arrested, I wasn't throwing up my arms and saying F you, y'all are racist, y'all are pigs. I was asking questions and I was making sure I was confirming, are your body cams on? Because I know as a Black person, you know, sometimes, yeah, people get a little extra and thinking she's Black, she might turn up. And then a little on it. No, I'm not turning up and I'm not going to turn up because I want to live to fight another day.
Right.
Whether, and if this injustice occurred towards me, all right, now we got my demeanor shown on a body cam, the officer's demeanor shown on a body cam. And there was some things that I didn't like in that arrest where I'm on the phone and I'm explaining that I'm getting arrested and the officer just hit the end button on my phone. That was rude, but okay. I was like, all right, in my mind, you're a prick, but I'm not going to fight with you because you're ignorant. All right, I'm going to just note that. I'm going to note that and I'm going to remember you.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm going to ask my question. Am I detained? Why? Or am I arrested? Why? What's going on here? Are your body cams on? Okay. I'm not turning up. And you know, and everything worked out in my favor. Charges thrown out, dismissed, dismissed.
Yep. Yep.
You know, so yeah, and you know what was in the back of my mind too?
What?
I'm thinking about all the times that Black people turned up and were shot because somebody misunderstood the turn up as an attack because they don't know them personally. I didn't know the officers personally who were arresting me. And I understood that if I turn up, they don't know I'm just mad and confused. So I'm not going to do that and get myself killed. And yeah, there are some abuses of powers, but I decided I wasn't going to turn up because I turn up, I'm not going to live the next day to fight that abuse of power. And unfortunately, some people haven't. And like I said, went through the whole process. It was, the arrest wasn't warranted. It wasn't justified. They were just doing their job, blah, blah, blah. It was a traumatic experience for me to have to go to jail for some BS. But I'm going to be, I was vindicated at the end of it. I got my justice at the end of it. I don't have a criminal record. None of those charges stuck because that's the way the system works. Innocent until proven guilty. So, you know, and
I would like to also say is that in moments like that, when you're being placed under arrest, because they told her to stop the vehicle, get out of the vehicle.
Right. Listen.
As if a form of, because the fact that there is this activism around me, I have a right to fight. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, they pumped her up.
Yeah.
That's when you have the wrong friends pump you up to do the wrong thing and it ends up getting you killed.
Yep.
And like Keisha Thomas said, the best fight is with pen and paper and knowing your rights. And that's what got me out of it.
I tell people all the time, it's the power of the pen.
Right.
It's the power of the pen. Because there are a lot of people who like to sit and fight and argue with me, even when it comes to like even coworkers, right? And I'm not with you.
Right.
How that pen? I'm gonna push it.
Me too. Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you know, and look, I'm here. Do y'all see me arrested? Am I on JPay doing a live stream? Am I, on my jail iPad calling people? No. No, I mean, it was a very traumatic and unfortunate experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to see too how easy it is to get locked up if you're black.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lie on you.
Like with your situation is like there was really poor investigative work being done to verify anything.
Politics
and what
in it.
That too, but along with there's just this way of allegation equals probably
right.
There's really no investigation, and that's why down here it's a little different because there's an allegation, but we're going to investigate, and if that's different, and so that's a whole other conversation. But to go back to it, when it
but
comes,
like Keisha said, it was abuse of powers, though.
it was
because there was another former ex-law enforcement officer involved. You had a current sitting city councilman involved. You had a sergeant who had a personal friendship with that councilman involved. But at the end of it, I won. Y'all see me. I'm here. I'm free. I'm free. My innocence has been proven and maintained throughout all of it. The consistency. And I could smile about it. And now I have that experience. And when I see other people doing nonsense, you want to uppercut the police officer. Yeah, you innocent, but now since you uppercut the police officer and punch them in the mouth, you got problems.
Make it worse, and like I tell people, it's best just not to resist. Usually, but hold on, a lot of the initial contacts for those charges are usually dismissed. It's usually the post action of you getting arrested that gets you convicted of those more. And some of the times it be so petty. It's like you were gonna get charged with disorderly conduct. Now you probably would have just had to pay a fine and or dismiss. But now since you got resisting, eluding, ag assault, whatever it may be, now you upgrade yourself so you all but more prove that the fact that you're a violent individual.
Exactly. And you were there too doing when I got arrested. You just was like, just don't resist. You gonna get out of this. So you tell me how I did.
You did good, actually. You did good. You were cooperative. I told you don't even argue with him. Don't even say nothing. Talk to your lawyer. Because at that point, once they put the cuffs on, it's like, all right. And then she said the wrong charge, and that, like I said, that's a different conversation.
Right. But still, I didn't turn up.
Yeah.
I didn't get crazy. You bitch. You fuck you. I didn't do all of that.
Yeah. And the mere fact of the matter is that she should know better. And that's like we'll talk about another.
And that's okay because we could deal with that at some later point, and there's gonna be a later point as opposed to me punching and fighting all the officers and twisting and not I played the game. All right, put my hands behind my back so they can put the cuffs on me, put me in the car, and are y'all body cams on? I'm just making sure because I really don't know y'all either. And I just want to make sure all this is recorded in case I don't know what type of day they had. where they might want to beat me up and dump me. I don't know. But make sure the body cam's on. That's all. I'm going to cooperate with y'all. Y'all want me to turn right, left? Okay. And it's not to say that I'm being a punk or whatever, or I'm giving up my right. No, I'm being strategic so that I could live to fight this another day with my pen and my paper.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I know my rights. Like, okay, yeah. Unfortunately, and I don't like bail reform. Let me say that, because if there was not this bail reform nonsense and we still had our bail bonds agency, I would have never went to jail.
You could have bailed out. Yeah, you
I would
could have
have bailed out and been home and went to court to fight it or whatever. But this bail reform is terrible. So
Yeah.
I know,
It's
and
actually,
it's a disservice because everybody's going to jail with bail reform.
yeah.
Even the innocent people, you're going to jail and you're gonna have your day. You're going to have your day in court, and if you're innocent, you're gonna be like me, out doing shows.
Mhm. So I just want to get back to uh, just the overall. Oh yeah, true. True, great. She said, so it says policies are put in place to be followed. Great play on your part. Yeah, and there was actually two policy violations. Number one, that person didn't have their body camera at all. They were using somebody else's, and that other person was holding it, and it wasn't attacked. So you can get them with that.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
we
It was sloppy. It was sloppy police work, but again, I didn't antagonize to get shot and murdered.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And let's get back. Yeah, you said you wanted to get back to the situation with the unlawful protests and the
About,
consequences of that.
I want to talk about the fundraising,
Oh, go
right?
ahead. Yes, let me see
So,
if I could pull that up while you're talking about it. I would love to show that on the screen.
so, so, um, so show the shooting, right? Let's show the shooting, and then I can talk about the racial and economic disparities that happen when it comes to fundraising. Um,
And let me be clear too. Nobody donated to help me get out of my situation, to pay my attorney, to prove my innocence. Nobody cared
mhm.
because I don't know. Maybe
Yep,
it's because I'm black, but
yep,
fortunately, I had some resources to tap into and a very, 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 very supportive family. Shout
yeah,
out to my family. I love y'all because that's what got me through.
mhm.
And I understand with some black people who are innocent, they get frustrated and they don't have that support system. But you gotta keep your cool. You gotta keep your cool and don't do stuff that's gonna make it worse.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
What was the lady's last name? Renee Good, right?
And then I
Oh.
showed you the video of her ramming a car. So there was two agents. The one that was recording, and then there was the one that discharged. He was standing right behind the agent.
Let me
So
bring that up. Go ahead. I'm listening.
hitting him, and then he discharged his weapon. So that's really what went down. She did hit him with the car. She hit him with the car.
I seen that angle and I was like, ooh.
Mhm.
Let me bring that up because you did send that one to me. And that was from his body cam angle, right?
I think so. I think that no, there was a one that I showed you that was
Hold up.
that you can clearly see him getting struck by the vehicle, and it was on.
Yeah, that was a different one. And I was like, oh wow. I didn't see this before.
I think, but well, let me get into, if I may. I'm gonna get into. Could you still hear me at least?
Yeah, go ahead. You can see me,
So
right? Yeah, go ahead.
so Renee's family started a GoFundMe right on January 7th. A GoFundMe from her family. raised over 1.5 million, far above the $500,000 goal. And
Wow.
from 38,000 donors, which pretty much surpassed the thing, right? The ICE agent also started his. But here's the thing. High profile white victims or nationally symbolic cases often spark larger, faster fundraising and platforms like GoFundMe because they become national news. They drive hashtags
Mm,
and they share it widely across networks. Coverage of these cases can dominate media cycles, which turn into donations. What I mean by that,
wow.
in contrast, when it comes to black victims, despite being disproportionately killed by the police or facing fatal encounters from law enforcement, they frequently receive less public compensation support from formal systems. Research shows black
Yep.
homicide are more likely to be denied compensation or aid from programs than white family victims. So
Mm,
the things that are happening, right? Because they're amplified. Why? Because it's a racial disparity that's
right.
happening, right?
Right.
And so in the racial stereotypes, it's always about crime or aggressiveness or blameworthiness for black victims because it influences how victims are perceived, and it
Mm-hmm.
affects of willingness to donate because the stereotypes are rooted from a broader social narrative and media framing.
Right.
And so when we have uh, you know these things that are happening, it's really more of a racial thing because does the story really fit the sympathetic narrative of white middle class America? Does it fit the narrative of white America? Does it fit the narrative of the America that we have never really been a part of? Right? And so
Mm,
it continuously happens in America, whereas though even at even at our worst part, the manifestation of social, economic, and racial disparities even still shows up. So it doesn't
yep.
matter; it shows up regardless, though. So you can be a hippie all you want, but it's gonna show up.
Exactly. Exact. Like a million. I couldn't. And shout out to the people who supported my GoFundMe. Um, but I couldn't even raise that much to get clean water.
Mm,
And we all knew there was lead in the water.
yeah.
Nobody cared about black people drinking leaded water. There was
Mhm.
no $1 million. None of that. None of that. And Keisha says Good's family also hired the team who was on George Floyd's case. Let's see how this go.
Well, she can do as much as she want, but it's gonna be a hard case to prove. Because the fact that number one, he suffered internal bleeding. There's clear as day. She struck him with the vehicle.
Can we play that? Let's play
Yeah.
that. Let's play that. Hold on. Let me get that scene going. Hold up. All right. Can you see it? All right. We're gonna play the video. Hold on. Let's play the video. Let me split screen this. Pull this out over here. All right. This is the video you sent me.
And
See
there was
that?
yeah, she
I'm
struck him
gonna
with
replay it so people can see it again. Did she not hit the man?
there was contact made between her vehicle. There was contact. She was being placed under arrest.
Looting? Is that looting? Because if I did that,
Well, and I don't know how the federal law works. I don't think there's a federal law for looting.
okay.
I think there's that can possibly fugitive from justice, but I'm not sure how the federal Title 18 works. But I know in New Jersey that's considered eluding, but it's also considered ag assault with a vehicle on law enforcement officer because of the fact that she struck the officer. And if people need that definition for New Jersey, it's clear as day.
Yeah.
And as he was coming around, it's like he was coming around, and she pulls the fuck off. And excuse my French, she pulls off. And it's like, yeah, he got hit, clear as day. It's hard to prove, especially because the federal laws are so ambiguous, right? There's so much ambiguity
Mm-hmm.
about federal laws that they have
Mm-hmm.
so much room to do whatever really they want to do.
Right. Right.
The federal government, they design it that way because they need wiggle room to do what they want to do for the national interest of the United States of America.
Right.
So we got to really hone down, well, what's the use of force on a federal level. What is the what do they have on the Department of Homeland Security level, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that he received prior to. But if you hit me with the vehicle, and once again, he has a prior incident of being dragged by a vehicle, so he now,
Right.
that along with his knowledge, training, and experience, he can say, well, based off my knowledge, training, and experience, I lived through a situation where though I was attacked with a vehicle. So he has trained
Right.
vehicle. So yeah, he's gonna react a little bit much more quickly than like anywhere else, and he suffered an injury as a result of the current shooting he had right now.
Right. Oh, Keisha said, okay, you both were in law enforcement. She said it will be a hard case. The officer was also trained as they do in law enforcement not to put yourself in the way of danger.
That's different for federal though.
Oh,
Federal
okay.
step in front of the car because they're stopping somebody. Federal see now in New Jersey we're told to step out of the way, like a lot of state law enforcement. So she's absolutely correct though. But I think federal they could step in front of the vehicle and stop that person from going because once again their use of force is different from our use of force. Our use of force.
And that's another thing. Educate us on that because people don't understand the difference.
Yeah, so the federal once again their laws are like it's so much ambiguity around their laws is that they get
Okay.
so much to work with, right? All like for us, we have case law, we have all of this good stuff. So not only we have state law that we have to follow, we also have to follow federal law and federal guidelines for
Okay.
force. So when you're using force, we're trained to do much more than sometimes even federal, because their job is to, well, if he does something that you reasonably believe to fear of your life, and that's I think Graham v. Connor decision that they usually use reasonably objective uh fear of your life. So it has to be the force you use has to be reasonably objective. Um,
She said they told her to get the F out of here. DHS followed the same law.
oh, okay. Well, they follow the same law. Yeah, but I thought she was being told to get out of the vehicle.
They did, and they were telling her it was a lot of confusion because then you had people
Well,
yelling. The wife was telling her to drive off.
mhm,
What I would have did, I would have shut the car. First of all, I wouldn't have been there.
mhm.
I would not have been there because then
That
we're huh?
now that also plays into account if she was to sue, is that it's something called the clean hands doctrine, and in the clean hands doctrine, you can't be doing something unlawful or illegal and sue, right? So once she was there, number one, she was obstructing the investigation because she blocked the car from I think from passing. Um, she was either doing that or following. I'm not sure what the initial point was, but when for I first saw the video, it was like the agent got out of the vehicle, not the one that discharged, but the one that was behind, pretty much adjacent, walking straight to her, would tell her get out of the vehicle, get out of the vehicle, and then that's when she drove off though. But it doesn't matter. She shouldn't have been there, like you said though, and it plays into the court system because if I was there, if I was a juror, it's like, well, why were you there in the first place? Let's talk about that. I'm gonna
Unlawful protest.
an objective standpoint as well. What
Mm-hmm.
are you there for? What business would you try to do? Right? Because you should have been attending to your fucking kids rather than, you know, protesting the fascist, racist pigs of America. Protest the gang members.
Say that again. The fascist racist pig. Say that like that.
And out of every black and brown neighborhood protesting people with illegal guns, right? Who are out here
Very
committing.
illegal guns.
So my thing is, and like I said, that's my own personal opinion. What was your mission? I always tell you this. What's your mission? What is your mission by doing that? You never really seen us protest unless it was a mission. Our mission was to have clean water.
Right. Right.
What your mission is to be disruptive of the federal operations. The difference between what's going on is the fact that they already committed the felony by unlawful entry. They already committed the felony by overstaying visas. They already committed. And people who come to this country, they make it very clear, the Homeland Security makes it very clear, don't overstay your visas. This is what was happening under the Obama administration. Obama even
Talk about that.
on the when he did one of his talks, he was known as a deporter in chief. So there was no really pushback when Obama was deporting Mexicans. Well, there was no really pushback when he hired more people. He's the one that authorized the use of drones over our southern.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that had the cages built. When we first saw those cages in 2017 or 18, that wasn't Trump. That was an Obama era bill. Those
And
cages
let's talk about that. He was doing his job as a president. Obama was doing his job as a president.
say it as much or brag about it as much, but he did it as a president. Go back to that comment. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. So she said you asked me, he was wrong, she was wrong, and the right wife was wrong. And that's the nuances with protest. Anything can go left. As we seen, even with the Nordic Water Coalition, when we did that protest, people got locked up because they did whatever. But anything, when they had the horses, we could have got trampled by the horses. Because the horses were not used to that type of crowd and that energy. They were spooked. They were foaming at the mouth. If somebody would have got kicked by a horse, that would have been a serious injury or fatal. But again, I like this comment too. She says, after I drop my kids off at school, I am either going to work or home. She should not have been there. People need to understand that some poop is not your fight.
Exactly.
And I agree. And then there's ways to fight this too, with the pen and paper. If you don't like the current immigration laws,
have a right to
vote for legislators and elected officials to change that. To say that we no longer have an immigration law and everybody can just come into the United States. And then I will bring in all my Nigerian cousins.
But here's the thing,
my
though.
Puerto Rican cousins are already here. But then,
Yeah, but it could have happened because last time I checked, when Biden was president, there was a blue Congress, a blue Senate, and a blue White House.
Yeah.
They could have easily passed a bill saying we override this law.
Okay. This is a question for you. William Hathaway says, who is the blame for ICE? Was it Biden or Trump? Let's talk about when ICE raided in Ivy Hill, Manor Drive. Joe Biden was the president. Mayor Baraka was the mayor. And people were deported because they were not legal citizens. And if you live in a Westwood, you know about the manor in Ivy Hill. You know. So why do we pick and choose and have selective accountability?
Because it's you know what it is.
And I'm not a Trump fan, but I was an Obama fan, and he did, and I know he did deportations.
Here's the thing, though. He's the one to initiate all of this shit, Obama, and I love Obama. People who know me
Me
know I
too.
love Obama. We
Me
all love.
too.
But Obama era was the one to start all of this shit. And I'm not talking about starting deportation of things. I'm talking about the way the tactics are being used, the way the surveillance things are being used, the way the intelligence is being shared. He did that. And not only that, not he did that, Trump only amplified and showed the things that were being done behind the scenes. Like him
Right.
going and stuff like that. That Ben was there. They were showing
Right.
that on National Geographic back in what, 2013?
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
watched, I watched the episode when it came to CBP, and they we went there along with Ice, and they did drop, and it was natural to see that.
Right.
So what has changed because you and once again what has changed because Obama did a lot much more than what people think. And I'm not saying he was a bad president. I'm
I don't
saying
think that either.
I think he did the best he did with what he had, and what he
Yep.
said was all in order. He says, whether Democrat or Republican, we are gonna simply do the right thing by deporting these things. He was known as the deporter in chief.
He would.
In
Yeah.
4 years,
Yeah. He was doing his job.
hold on, in the first 4 years of Trump, Obama, with those still 2 years, with those 8 years, still deported people, even within his first 4 years, compared to Trump, deported more people than Trump did in that first term. Make,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
make it make sense. Make it
Absolutely.
make it
I
make.
just want to show while we're talking, the fundraisers also. Hold on. Let's see. Did they pop up?
And
I want.
can we also talk about the many things that are happening in Black and Brown communities that while we feel so neglected,
Right.
right?
Now she's at one. I'm sorry to cut you off. She's at 1 point, almost 1.5 million.
Yeah,
And they only needed 50K. They only needed 50K. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold up. Let me make the view a bit better. Hold up. Hold up. I
wow,
don't want my audience to be feeling like slighted. But yeah, 1.5 million raised
pretty much.
right there. You see it.
Yep.
You see it. You guys see it. And let's go to I'm gonna
What
also put up the ICE officer. I believe he's at, hold on, let's see what he's at with his. It just really turned into like a GoFundMe war. I'm like, so like, wow. People don't even have anything to eat. His goal is 800K. He's at 753. That's over a half a million.
Yep.
You know, three quarters of a million. He's almost at a million.
Yep.
And this is this is what our country is doing. But then they'll say kids are starving, kids are in poverty, blah blah blah. But y'all are playing politics. You all are not making sure the food is going to the kids and feeding the families. Because I mean, why are we pouring our money into these political wars?
Yep. Amen.
What about how much money went into getting clean water?
Yep.
How much money went into helping an innocent woman get exonerated and to help her maintain her freedom? worthy, actual, genuine causes. Oh, and that's not it. Let's talk about the protesters who get paid to protest. I've never in my life gotten paid to protest. I've never in my life gotten paid to go down to city council meetings in Newark to express my grievances and my concerns. And that to me is problematic because they say we got to take the money out of politics, but now we're putting money into protests.
Yep.
Who's paying for this? Who's gaining monetarily? Not the people.
But they need to pay to protest these people off the corners and things like that. Pay to protest.
Right. How much can I protest you? I mean, how much can I pay you to protest the fiends walking around? How much can I pay you to protest the crimes going on in Newark? And then on top of that, why do I gotta pay you if you really care about what's going on in your community? I don't get paid. I know I'm shelling out, I'm paying, and I'm not even getting services that make me feel like I'm getting my money's worth.
Yep.
And let's go to this comment by Eric Martindale. He says that it's political nonsense. Obama and Biden each deported millions more than Trump. I'm gonna let that marinate for people because what he's saying is actually factually true. And there wasn't a peep out of the media or the Democratic activists. And he's saying it's only an issue now because Trump is doing it. Not saying Trump is the best on all issues, but all the evidence is crystal clear that this is nothing but a political witch hunt. And there's a gigantic, in capital letters, double standard that Democratic presidents are exempt from criticism on issues. I think we need to criticize all presidents on all issues and be consistent. Mm-hmm. And I want to ask the question again. What laws can I break in this country and not have repercussions and have a whole slew of people come out and protest on my behalf and GoFundMe? Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments because I'm ready to do it now. I hope y'all say rob a bank. Put it in the comments.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Put it in the comments. Rob a bank without any violence. You want to be like the street doctor. Go in with the note. Go in. Look, go in with the sticky note. Put the money all in the bag or else. And then we could go to court or else could mean anything. I didn't say or else I'm gonna shoot somebody or else there's a bomb. Put the money in a bag so I can give it back to the community. But I can't do that. I'll go to jail for a very long time.
Make it make sense, and we're protesting the wrong thing. You know, and the real question is, are you trying to solve a problem or are you creating new ones?
Ding, right? Ding, ding.
What's your mission in resolving it? Does the complexity of the effort align with the size and scope of the intended impact or outcome? I was taught this shit. You get what I'm saying? So, like, what are we doing?
Right. What are we doing? Like you said, selective outrage. I hate Trump. And you know what? It makes people look really uninformed when they don't know about the deportations done under Obama and Biden.
There were worse conditions under Obama. Let's just be real. Obama didn't give a fuck. That man, I like Obama because he's a killer in swag. And
I love him. I love him. I love him.
let's also
He
say this.
no.
Let's also say this. Just because, see, I like the danger of Trump. Here's why. I'm not too much of a supporter, but I like the danger of Trump because I know I'm getting his dangers is loud in the red tie in the rally hat. It's dangerous, but I know you know the dangers. You see the dangerous in him. He's
Right.
gonna tell you the dangers that he's gonna do. I'd rather deal with that than deal with somebody who's behind doors with a silk press in a navy suit with a pen pushing policies that I don't know nothing about.
We setting it off. That's how, like Keisha said,
Danger can come in a navy suit.
right? Remember how they robbed them banks and set it off?
Yeah.
They had bombs. They had a bomb wig.
Are you going? Are you going with the Bob wig?
They were nicely dressed. Put the money in the back. Right. I want to set it off. Obama was setting it off though. He set it off. I'm not gonna lie. He set it off.
It's literally his policies.
Let's talk, like, go back to the drones. Go back to the drones. How many people got killed? How many military lives were lost with the drones? Zero.
And he utilized those drones on to monitor the border. He started that, giving CBP drones and more shit. Like they never had the type of firepower and weaponry that he actually authorized a lot of it.
Talk about it.
And
Do, do we have to post like proof of that for people to
we
understand?
can
Because I thought everybody was following that when he was doing it.
yeah, but we can talk about that next week more in detail. And
Okay.
I can send you because I wasn't prepared for that. But I can get a catalog of the things
Okay.
he did and the things that he's authorized. There's a lot of stuff. He is the it factor of all the presidents. He's the one to to do a lot of different things, right? He's the one to drop bombs and to assure, the CIA files and the spying and Edward Snowden and all this other.
Yes,
He is
he did. Yes, he did.
not,
Yes, he did. And he also, yes, Obama also did give people health care who had low income. He did.
that's
He did do that.
it's noise. He was more strategic. Oh, me and Obama are Leos. We are more strategic than what people think. On the surface level, we're gonna do certain things for that, right? And if I was him, speak
You guys are community oriented and care about the people.
and people don't understand. He did a lot of things to set a lot of national security things in motion. He
To
loved
protect America.
that too, but a lot of his stuff was foreign policy. He never
Right.
really stayed in America, if you really think about it. Everything, a lot of the stuff he did was foreign policy. So that means what? He utilized the CIA a lot. Why? Because their job is to gain access to information to give decisions to policymakers in order to preserve our future of our foreign policy.
Mm-hmm.
He was more ruthless than people think.
Right.
About
Right.
that.
Right. Right. And he didn't have to show that, but if you knew him and what his operations were, like how in detail, and that's why I had to bring you on today to talk about this stuff, because you get people that's emotional but they don't understand the background, they don't understand the history, and then they don't even understand the people you love have been more cold and strategic than Trump.
Mm-hmm.
You knew the things that they did. Remember, you remember how did you see how Syria looked at the Obama?
How what look?
Syria,
Oh yeah.
Damascus,
Mm-hmm.
one of the oldest regions in the world. Like it's ancient. Like
Yeah.
like the pyramids at Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The United States had to go in, and he did some work there.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like ground zero.
Mm-hmm.
And they're rebuilding because of the terrorism that was going on in the country.
Yep.
People had to flee. People had to come to the United States, other countries, because of the terrorism that was going on there. And it blows my mind that you'll have these self-righteous people protesting and doing this and all of that, but they haven't gone to live in these places
Yeah.
to really know and understand. They haven't done their research.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know about somebody like getting their limbs ripped apart if their arms are tied to two horses and their legs are tied to another two horses going in different directions.
Yeah. And some of that stuff still exists when you're dealing with a Sharia law, right?
Right,
And
right. Or getting hacked to death like Khashoggi with
yeah,
a machete.
you know,
And who knows if the machete was even sharp?
they do when you know regimes and things like that. People are not really aware of um, the global just happenings,
The
right?
evil.
They don't know. They don't know anything. They don't know anything. They don't know anything. They don't know anything. That's all I'm gonna just say. They don't know anything.
And they're uninformed.
Talk about that next week as well, along with Obama.
Or could we do the following week? Because I'm gonna bring Gene
Oh
Bowie
yeah.
on next week to talk about the leadership. But that'll give us enough time to prepare and have our sources, our references, so people can see where this is coming from. This is like what we do is not emotional at all. It's all just mind work.
Mm-hmm.
If and the mind work is if we all have decided that these are the laws that we're gonna follow, like I'm gonna give like a biblical reference just to make it simple and easy, but I'm not, I'm not advocating for a religion or anything like that. But just like the 10 Commandments, people agreed, okay, we're gonna all follow these. This is our social contract, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if we don't agree to that, then we could change it and make it okay. This is what we want in our social contract, and this is what we all will follow, and this is how we all will interact in the community with each other. Now, right now, it's like people want to change this social contract. And okay, if you want to do that, there's ways of going about it. And that's through legislation and policy and elected officials. But if you're talking about you don't vote, you don't engage in that, then of course it's not going to change. But you're being chaotic and dysfunctional because this is what we all agreed on as the process to change laws that fit how we're living today. And if people are not on board with you, if you can't go out and get signatures where people agree or they want to put you in office to make legislation that reflects how you want things done,
Yep.
then that's not that then you got to accept that defeat and that L. And that's the part that I'm not understanding. You got people, let's talk about the paid protesters too. You're getting paid to protest $200 or whatever it is, the amount a day. And you don't vote.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you're just out there being disruptive.
Yeah. With no mission.
With no mission, no aim, no aim, no aim. We were being disruptive to the MTV Awards because we wanted clean water. That was the mission.
Yep.
And we got it. We got Phil Murphy's attention. We got the county executive's attention. We got even Trump's attention and Senator Booker's attention to the point where they gave money to fix it.
Yep.
Because that was the reason that the mayor of Newark was saying why it wasn't fixed, because we didn't have the money. That's how policy changes happen, but not pumping people up to go put themselves on the line. Like, I don't understand how you go from, there's a book, right, where it says know your rights, cooperate with the police, don't fight, don't resist. And this was passed out to me as a Black person.
Yep.
My parents, I don't think your parents ever taught you that, but my parents didn't teach me that. Like, a certain way you got to act around the police.
Mm-hmm.
They never taught me that. I learned from these know your rights people. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know that it was dangerous for me as a Black person with the police. I didn't know until them. I didn't even know that. Even though I'm not going to be irate and belligerent if I'm getting arrested, but I'm not going to put myself in those situations. But in my case, it was a situation that somebody else, some other people put me in. Mm-hmm. And I still wasn't belligerent. But my thing is, how do people, you give these people this guideline on how they need to behave with the police, but like you said, when it's a white person, it goes all out the window. They don't have to behave like that. But then, unfortunately, Miss Good lost her life. Mm-hmm. Because she didn't listen to the commands of the police. And oftentimes I've seen in posts where Black people were killed, oh, he shouldn't have been arrested. She shouldn't have been arrested. Why didn't she comply? Why didn't he comply? Mm-hmm. And now we don't have that same, we don't have that same emotion, for it's not consistent across the board. And then there's the GoFundMe wars to follow, who could raise the most money for their side. Like, now it's really looking like a game. And then you got paid protesters. What kind of game? What kind of game? I'm gonna check out. I don't want to be a part of nothing like that. Mm-hmm. If you gotta pay me to protest, it's not worth it. You're using me. But then you got some bums out there who need money. And they'll do it, just like they had the at the Puffy trial. Remember, they were paying the fees to wear the shirt Free Diddy?
Oh, yeah.
How much were they getting paid a day?
I don't know.
Enough to go buy some drugs and get high.
Free Diddy.
Right. They up there nodding out on fentanyl or whatever drugs that do that to them.
Mm-hmm. All types of opioids and shit.
Right. How do we know these protesters aren't them? You know, you paying people to protest. It's not a genuine cause. And you know what? That's an insult to America. Because when Americans protest, even during the civil rights movement, nobody got paid.
Yeah, it was a civic duty.
Thank you. Could you say that again and give us a definition?
It was a civic duty. It was a civic duty to do that. You know, it was doing the right thing when no one asked you to do the right thing, because it was the right thing to do.
Right. So now I'm wondering, if I go on Indeed, is there a job that says protesters wanted?
Yeah, I might do that.
Right. And you know, I talked to Bob. Bob definitely does his research. Bob said there's this woman, Sarah Gonzalez, on Blaze. This is what This is where the information comes if people want to fact check about the protesters. She interviewed a protester in Minneapolis that says they get paid $200 a day. And we did the math like, wow, if they Monday through Friday, that's $1,000 a week.
Yeah.
Just being outside with a ball on. That's a pretty good job to me. You outside anyway.
Doing what you want to do. And imagine if you did work at night
and you get to curse people out.
Yeah. You know?
$1,000 a week. There's basically almost a little over 4 weeks in a month. So that's $4,000 a month.
Yep.
Just protesting. Wow. I feel like I feel like this needs to be like, you know how they have those commercials. If you were injured from breathing in asbestos, blah blah blah, like those late night infomercials. I feel like it should be one for protesters who didn't get paid. If you were protesting genuine causes and doing your civic duty and wasn't compensated, you are entitled to blah blah blah. Because when you're out there, you putting your life on the line. Seriously. And my grandmother was totally against me doing that. Because she said you could get yourself killed.
Yeah, but a lot of the things we did were more peaceful. We wasn't with the rowdy. We just yelled. We never even used profanity though. We never said
no, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Take back, and I was like, a lot of our protests that how we demonstrated ourselves to be was the actual protest.
Right.
And I was objective. I'm like, you talking about F the police, talking about the water. I'm saying, like, what's the point in that? Like that.
They start right. Remember it was a segment in the protest, and they started saying, "You pigs, you pig," and we said, "Wait a minute, are we not here for that? We're here for the water."
I just looked at him like, wait, what? Like, what? Yeah. So that was a fun day.
That was very fun. That was awesome.
That was a really fun. I got to talk to you about action with that too. There's an action. So yeah. So fun day to really reflect on that. So yeah.
Right. And you know what? We made progress too. We made progress. Should I play that clip with Captain O'Hara when he's talking about what happened and how about the unlawful protest, or you think we pretty much
got to it?
Okay. You know what? I'll post it in the comments because I'm definitely a Captain O'Hara fan. You know I'm a Captain O'Hara fan.
I'm a huge fan of him too. I like how he just has his.
He was good.
Yeah, it's just, but he was out there himself, like at 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Like he was running and gunning with the regular line officers, and that is just not. That is what you call, right? And we can go into that later on. But that right there, that's I fucks with that.
Yeah, he was a true protector. Like, and even how you work too. Like, you guys really care about the community. It's no BS. You're not trying to be seen. You're trying to do the right thing to make everybody safe. And if people are doing stupid stuff, you want to address them and say, hey, you can't do that. Either do something else or you're going to get locked up. Straightforward. That's it.
Yep.
It's not I'm going to lock you up. No, not from the rip. No, it's you guys let people know this is not acceptable. You may not know it, but I'm letting you know. Next time, It's curtains for you. And to
Yep.
me, that's fair. And we do need law enforcement because people do get besides themselves. I've never, never been pro anti-police.
Right.
Never. And I'm against like injustice and unnecessary stuff and all of that, but I believe we need the police because I know what evil is. I know what people are capable of
Mhm.
when they want to hurt people. We have serial killers, multiple known serial killers in this country.
Yep.
And without law enforcement, they would never be caught. Some of them don't get caught. But the ones that do get caught, I'm thankful for law enforcement doing their job. And if you don't want the police, people need to think about that. Especially naive people, especially people who don't have the guts or whatever it takes in you to defend yourself. There's vicious people out here.
Yeah.
And people really don't believe that. They think like, they just misunderstood. All
Yep.
right, well, when you get your head blown off, let's see how misunderstood they are when you're no longer here.
Mhm.
Then what? Then what? I mean, I think our police they should do ongoing training and all of that and work on always improving.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like they're not needed. Remember that whole thing where people wanted to abolish the police or something? It was abolish the police, right? Yeah, they don't even talk about that no more. Why?
Did you need him?
Okay. Wow. But yeah, is there anything you want to add before
No,
we go?
I love the ending monologue. It was pretty good.
You did? You like that? You like that? It's a little something, something, a little something, something. I'm definitely gonna put Captain O'Hara his comments. I'm gonna put them in the comments. The link for him, I'm definitely gonna put in the comments. But I really hold on, let me see. Let's copy that. Let's see if it pops up. Let's see if it were there any words that you wanted to add?
I just want to say people to stay informed, challenge information, challenge the sources, and just continue to inform yourself of all things, not just some. Don't take things.
Mm-hmm.
Don't look at the first video. Look at 10 of them, because if all 10 of them are telling you the same thing, then I think that's enough. Don't trust but verify. Don't analyze but also synthesize the information. Um, and,
Okay.
and break it down to its most fundamental elements. And that's pretty much it for me.
Okay. All right. All right. That was dope. That was dope. So basically do your research before you start jumping on bandwagons
Exactly.
and paying GoFundMe's. But then you go funding me for somebody, all these people dead ass wrong, but then you want to talk about how we're a wealthy nation and people aren't eating. Why you not go funding that?
Yep.
Why you not helping people out of poverty? And I agree. We're the United States of America. Nobody should be in poverty.
Yep.
Nobody. And in our cities, our cities too. should not be looking like third world cities. Trash everywhere when we have a whole system of collecting and disposing of the trash. People get paid. You know, did you want to say any like final comments about the GoFundMe competition too?
Nah, I'd just rather leave that up to God.
You gonna go with God like Drewski?
I'm gonna leave that up to him, the Lord and Savior. Man, it takes my mind, it takes my breath away. But
Yo, millions right now. So the lady has close to 1.75 million. The ICE agent he's getting up there to $1 million. So that's like almost $3 million right now. We could do so much more with that. Because I mean, and I'm not being insensitive, but the lady passed away. Do you need $1 million to bury her? Do you really need? And I know all that million isn't going into burying her.
Yeah, it's gonna be used for the kids, I guess.
Right, and it's unfortunate that she lost her life, and I don't want people to think I don't care about a loss of life. I think that was avoidable by not being there, because protests, like my grandmother always warned me about, can go left, even with the civil rights protests. Remember, people got sprayed with high pressure hoses that literally blew them away. Knocked them off their feet. Some of them hit buildings, had concussions. Then the dogs biting them. Like these, when you're up against people with opposing views, these things can go left. And that's why I agree with you and Keisha with the pen. I'm not going out there to put my life on the line unless I know I'm going to win. But then sometimes me, meaning me going to win, might be the loss of life of somebody else. And I don't want that on my conscience.
Yeah.
And I don't think, and let me say, I don't think Ms. Good was a bad person. And I don't think the officer, what was his name? I don't remember, the ICE agent. I don't think he was a bad guy. He was doing his job.
Yeah. He didn't wake up wanting to kill nobody.
Right.
Half of the time, we don't even want to go to work. I just want to tell people that.
Thank you.
Don't want to kill nobody. You know how I know? Because they have an absenteeism issue. People don't want to go.
And to
saying that, I can say for 99% of the law enforcement, we don't even want to go to work. We, a good majority of us, fuck that job. To really be honest, though, so we don't go to work ready to kill nobody. Like, if people don't understand the way, like, I don't even want to pull you over. Some days I may over, it depends on how I feel, right? And that's what happens, right? But majority of the time, it's warnings. If I see you do something, I don't need warning.
Right.
That is the last thing I want to do. That is the thing that I never want to do. Like ever.
Absolutely. So, and I think we got to get out of that space thinking that other people want to hurt us that don't want to hurt us. I really don't think, like, when I, even with the officers who arrested me, I don't think they wanted to hurt me. They were just doing their job. I mean, one of them did some asshole stuff, but he wanted to be cool. He was a young guy. He wanted to be, when he pressed the end button on my phone
Yeah,
call.
yeah, but like what
Who
happened
cares?
after like transporting you? Were they still rude and stuff like that, or?
No, no, they just wanted to show off for the sergeant. That's all. That's all. I mean, yeah, everybody was just showing off because they thought they had a bad guy, and I wasn't a bad guy. And shout out to Cecil too
Who's
for
that?
fingerprinting me, the one that's
Oh,
suing the mayor for sexual harassment. we
uh,
we were back there laughing. We were back there laughing and joking and
Chicago. She the truth. I met her, and she gave me some good pointers on how to police. She gave me some really good pointers.
she was down to earth. That was very, very cool. You know,
Mhm.
she made it a pleasant experience. I mean, being arrested, going to jail is not pleasant, but when you interact with people, certain people, you know, it reassures you that you're gonna be okay and you're gonna get out of it, especially if you're innocent. We even joked about the mugshot. That was funny. That
Mhm.
was funny. The mugshot was funny. It was priceless. I was like, do mine like Trump. I want to be like this. And she started laughing just like this. And I was like, psych, no, 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 okay, I'm gonna take it. And then I'm up there like, should I smile? And she like, do you want to smile? I was like, you know what? Nah, let me look serious, like I'm a criminal. Shot is like,
Oh man.
damn.
Oh man.
So and I did honestly too. I had to do some therapy, and I can laugh about it now because I realized certain things and going through that it wasn't the end of the world. At the time, I didn't feel like that. It was traumatizing to me,
Yep.
but she was one of the people that made it a pleasant experience, and I never forget her for that. And when I seen her, I was like in the sexual harassment suit. I was like, oh my gosh, this lady is cool, down to earth. Wow. But you know what? When your rights are violated anywhere, you just gotta fight for yourself, and that's the pen and paper. That's going to court, defending your rights. That's the way we do it here. And you know what? I don't think that's a bad system. Like sometimes it doesn't go the way that we want, but it's better than duking it out on the street or having a gun battle in the street.
Mhm.
You know, where you're back to back and you take your 10 paces and turn around and shoot.
Yep. Yeah.
And somebody's gonna end up dead. We don't need people to die.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it could be better, but it's better than people taking matters in their own hands.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate you, Zaire, for coming on.
No, thank you. Appreciate you.
Also, I need you on in 2 weeks, the week after next. After I have Brother Gene Bowie on, so we could talk about this Obama deportation. We need to go in depth. I think we need to really go in depth with that.
Yeah, we're gonna go around with good death. I'm gonna have the research ready. I'm gonna.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for providing law enforcement expertise
Mhm.
because like you even give me clarity and open my eyes up. And I don't feel like I hate the police. And I can't hate the police because my relatives are the police and I understand why y'all do it. Because y'all care. Y'all want to serve and protect. And it's not about killing people or, it's really about making the community safe.
Yeah.
And some people, it's like some people are not safe. it's some people really out there that have bad intentions.
Yep.
And I just don't understand why people believe there aren't. Like somebody broke into the car a couple of months ago, ransacked it, threw everything out of the glove compartment, left it all on the passenger seat and on the floor on the passenger side, and ransacked the armrest, took like a change purse, like a mini change purse that meant something to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, damn, they didn't have to do all of that. They could have, and then they could have took the change out and left the change purse, but they didn't. They took the change purse that had sentimental value.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like people like that.
Yeah.
I didn't like that because I felt like, wow, why I gotta eat that? Why does something I gotta clean up the passenger seat? You could have put the stuff back in the glove compartment. You could have took I would have been okay if they took everything out of the change purse, all the money, and left the change purse that meant something to me.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't. So a person like that, yeah, you need to get arrested because you're going around hurting people. And I shouldn't have to feel like, oh, well, maybe that person's in poverty and that's why they did it. Okay, that may well be the truth, but that's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
That person could have rung my bell and asked if I could help them, help them sign up for food stamps or whatever. But they robbed me and got away. And yeah, I just that didn't make me feel good. And that didn't make me feel like I should forget about that.
Yeah.
Because that hurt me.
Mm.
You know, like I'm not going to go into the details of what the change purse meant to me because is dear in my heart, but actually I am because I want people to understand how I felt. It was me and my mom went on a trip to Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
She had a great time. And that's when the change purse was purchased. So it's basically an artifact of our time, a memory of our time in Las Vegas together where we had so much fun and we connected and all that great stuff. And somebody took that.
Mm.
And like I said, I don't care about the change. It's just you took something that belonged to me and that meant something to me. But you want me to feel like I need to relate to you and whatever you're going through, whether it's drugs or whatever, that you needed to do that to me.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be, why do I have to be the bigger person to forgive? Why can't you just not steal from me?
Mm-hmm.
When you can ask. And it was like $2, probably $3 worth of change in the change purse.
It was just the overall principle of it.
It was the principle in the change purse itself. Like that reminded me of my trip with my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And they took that away. And then you get people, oh well, you could go get another one. No. But that's the end. That's the end of that. I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
Thank you for that therapeutic moment.
No problem.
Thank you for listening.
No problem.
And if you were here, I know you would have. Look, can I say like can I? I'm gonna I'm going to be raw. If you was here, you would have locked the son of a bitch up. You would have arrested that son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. Yeah.
Thank you, though, Zadi, for coming on, giving your expertise. I appreciate you.
All right. No
Any
problem.
last words from you?
Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all to the exposees. I'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
All right. Peace. We're out.